I cannot wait. I cannot wait to the end of the year to see other people's condemnations for this year's bad games. So I'm going to do my list a little early. I mean, most of the bad games are already released. Not much is coming out for the rest of this month, so why not? And this year there's so much, I have to do 11. So, without further introduction, here's my list. Number 11. It's sad when a company feels that they have to pull a cease and desist on a thing that's already there, because it's a little similar to their product. That's not the reason why Pokemon Quest is on my number 11, though. Sure, it's a Pokemon game, and it's fun, and it does what it needs to do, but there's just not enough. Two biggest things for me is that A, it reminds me a lot of Pokemon Rumble, but watered down and without the actual fun of it. And the other biggest concern is that you don't control the Pokemon. They just run around and attack on their own. Well, you can tell them to do some moves, but it's like, oh, click, click, click. But the biggest thing for me is that you have limited energy. I don't mean it's like, oh, you have 30 energy for the day. No, you have 5. I think the game would be interesting if you just remove the energy aspect of it. You don't need energy in your game to make it a mobile game. That's what Pokemon Quest is. It's a mobile game for the Switch. And that's the main reason why this is on my list. If it wasn't for that, it would have just floated in the midsection. Number 10. Metal Gear Survive. I'm seeing a trend here. Some franchises need to die. Just need to stop. They've done all they can with the Metal Gear series. Make a new series using the same formula if you really want to. And just come up with another story. New characters. Instead, you just tacked on a worn and tired title onto an online multiplayer game. And you expect it to be good.
And a lot of trends get chased on Steam. So I've played a lot of them, and I've got no fucking tolerance, no patience for whiny, sleeve-tugging survival games. Here was my first sort of proper mission after all of the patronising, endless tutorials. Well, I say endless, there was obviously an end to them. Although I don't know that, actually. I don't know if the tutorials keep on, because I uninstalled this game the day I bought it. And I only bought it to do this video, and I'd seen enough. I'd seen more than enough. So anyway, you'll watch me in this clip work out how this game's actually played. Here I am still thinking I'm Snake, silly me. No, it's not Snake. It is stabbing things through fences, and then gathering resources, and having the game complain to you all the time about being hungry and thirsty. This zombie is sort of attacking the wall, hoping that it's me. We dealt with that. They're very, I don't know if I've emphasised this yet, they're very fucking stupid. The only time they really inflict damage on you is when they power through your own attacks.
You removed everything that was Metal Gear, and then you just tacked Survive on. Your game should just be called Survive. I really played this game myself. I'm one of the ones that sees other people's opinions of it before I make a decision on my own. And Metal Gear Survive seems boring to me. Number 9. Paladins. Yep. We are in the world of battle royales, and they come along and they're all like, "Hey, Overwatch is popular. Money did well. Let's do the same thing." They repeated the same formula again and again and again, and it's boring. If I want to do a hero versus match, I would just go on Smite or Overwatch because I have those games. I don't need any new hero versus in my life. Number 8. I am really getting tired of these kind of titles. Number 8 spot is Dragooned. This is an indie title that tried something. They tried to be a game. I cannot condemn them for that. What I can condemn is laziness, choppiness, and a lack of understanding how boss battles work. If you want to see a full rundown of what's wrong with the game, go check Jim Sterling's video linked in the description, because I'm not going to bother paying $15 for a game that seems like it came out of a college student's project. And they're asking money for this cobbled up mess. Number 7. We waited for it. We watched it with anticipation. We played the betas. And We Happy Few just fell short. It's another game I have not played, granted. But I don't know if I want to now. There seems to be quite a bit of issues, like stuff that I've been repeating, animations that are not there, poor AI. However, the story is there, and the story is pretty good, so I can't put this further up my list, especially with what's coming up. And I'm sorry if you guys feel like this is I'm like just listing off games, because until now I kind of am. I mean, these are bad games, but they're nothing compared to this last half of my list. Number 6. Ooh, Firefighters. I did a little research on this game because I thought it was released 2 years ago. I'm still not sure. A couple years ago, there was like this firefighting simulator that it's like you could drive around, put out fires, but even on paper that sounds boring. But then this comes out and it adds just a tiny little bit more to the gameplay, and it's still just a huge mess of a game.
Whoa, blue fire! That's the hottest kind.
Blue flame jets. Cannot be extinguished. Oh, crap.
Oh, man. Yeah. Good lord. Being a firefighter's annoying.
Yeah, that's definitely what they all say.
Use the valve and press the A button. Yep, thank you. Impressive. Is that all he says? Okay, I was gonna put the controller up, but then he didn't say anything ever again.
Well, it was impressive. He got his point across.
Fire. Yeah. I get it. Jesus Christ. Just give me a break, this game.
All right.
Well, yeah!
I have so much to live for.
Hit him with the hose.
Jesus, that guy did not mail it in.
Hit him with the hose. Well, because he's not... This is just the training level, right? He's just another firefighter.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. I can't move my legs. You gonna have to carry me out.
Okay.
Okay. This is no time for your fetish, Clark.
Lack of understanding how physics work. Confusing ass objectives. Poor voice acting. Poor animation. And it's just a lack of gameplay and a lack of plot. This game, it seems like one of those massive amount of simulator games that want to make a game just because there's no simulation for it. Who wants to simulate playing as a firefighter in a boring game? It's like clicking on flames. Flames are gone. If we're going to make a firefighting game, I want to see a game similar to Ghostbusters, where you have the hose and you have to point it at the flames, and you have to like actually move the hose around to actually defeat the flames, and maybe come up with different other things like electric fire or grease fire that you have to do something else to put it out. That would be an interesting game if you want to simulate playing being a firefighter. Personally, I don't. And this is my list. A little bias is in it, so screw you. Number 5. Now. Oh. Alright. Serious mode now. Now. The real problems of this year. Besides my hair. There's no fixing it. These 5 are the reasons why we are having problems with the game industry lately. I want to point out years ago, like 20 years, 30 now? 30 years. There was a problem with the game industry, and it's because people were pumping out games left and right, and no one was really looking out for quality. And there was like kind of like a economic problem as well. Like, yeah. And people weren't able to just buy random games. But today we have the internet, and people can look up games before they buy them, and before they pre-order them. Why is pre-ordering a downloadable game a thing? Why is this? Why? I mean, I understand pre-ordering physical copies, because you're guaranteed that copy, unless it's a special edition for some reason. And you can come in first day, pick up the copy, and you don't have to worry about being late, at least that day. They'll still have your copy down, like on a shelf with your name on it. Pre-ordering downloadable games, though, there's no need. You could just buy it first day. Especially when first day, freaking Fallout 76 had a sale and did not compensate the people that pre-ordered it. No, that's not the reason why Fallout 76 is on this list. That was the lead-in. No, I was going to put this one further down the list. Like maybe around Metal Gear Survive, maybe tying with it. I know that online games are able to be fixed later down the line, easily. With other games that are like, oh, we have this patch and you have to like download it. With the online games, they'll just patch, and like next week there's a patch, and then like next week there's a patch. It's to be expected. Online games do that because they're constantly online. With offline games, you have to wait for them to actually release a huge patch like 1.1 or 1.5 or 2.1. Itchy nose. But Fallout 76 seems like it's just Fallout 4, not copied. It's not even a shell of the game. They took the shell of Fallout 4, stood back, took a picture of it with an old phone, and said, "Yep, that looks good," and then printed that. I mean, there's just so much wrong with it. In fact, instead of going around pulling other better YouTuber videos than mine, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the grocery list of bugs in the game. Animation models. The Brotherhood of Steel graphic has no texture/display for the backside. If textures fail to render, looking through the invisible area will show a true black screen with cascading effects. Cargo box tweak out when landing or moving near close objects. Using a crafting station will show the animation, but no menu will pop up until several minutes later. Accessing pipe boy or opening inventory to objects seem to help sometimes. Scorched weapons may not properly align to their model, making them hold items at very hilarious angles. Scorched weapons do not match their loot table. They may carry a pickaxe but drop a combat knife, etc. When in a nuked area, fauna are often bugged. Sometimes they don't respawn. Sometimes they do respawn. Only you can't harvest from them. Sometimes they never disappear in the first place, but you can't harvest from them more than once. Player models may appear naked instead of armored. When entering power armor, the suit may not properly animate. Shows character models entering into a closed suit of powered armor. When fighting rad scorpions or mole rats, their animations for burrowing is often delayed and their emergence hole will appear before they do. Player models may appear invisible or partially invisible. The bridge render distance for enemies is not properly adjusted. Enemies spawn in T-pose and can be shot before animation begins. Scorched and feral ghouls may occasionally T-pose to assert their dominance. White spring guards will randomly fire shots at seemingly nothing, even when peacefully patrolling. General stability. On some servers, all quests may appear grayed out and cannot be completed. Leaving the server and finding a new instant fixes this. Which, I want to add, the dev said that there's no servers. Like, it's all one place that everybody plays in, but apparently there are servers. And you can find different servers. Exit the desktop menu option has an extremely long delay. For that, I wonder if they do a timeout, like EverQuest does. So you can't just, like, camp while you're being killed so you can avoid being killed. Character model animation may freeze upon zoning or entering a power armor. Can be fixed by fast traveling. Over-encumbered players can relog to fix this. VoIP volume is especially unstable. May be related to player distance, but is very inconsistent regardless. If you die while over-encumbered in a nuclear zone, you cannot respawn, and relog is the only way to respawn. If you can join the same server with friends, your junk will still be bugged, and last death icon still shows. Characters may become permanently stuck in power armor, even after relogging. Models are shown as stretched and naked. The game is stuck between whether or not the character has said power armor equipped. Accessing terminals can sometimes freeze the character on the computer screen with no UI, essentially soft locking the game. The eastern section of the map, near the river and the mire, may cause the game to crash and players will not be able to load back into the game. Fast traveling to the breach and clear event may accidentally place you inside Vault 63. When sprinting, the AP gauge can get stuck and you are allowed to sprint longer than normal. Eventually the system does catch up, likely related to server latency. UI inventory. While in Power Armor, the compass UI markers are misaligned. Several ATOM challenges are not correctly storing data. Players who have learned dozens of recipes or killed several target creatures report 1 out of 67 progress, etc. If you are sprinting and open your Pipe Boy menu or map quickly without pausing, your AP will continue to drain as if you are still sprinting until you move once more. The level 5 PvP splash screen that lets players know they can now PvP will often appear when leveling up or logging on to a server. Friends list may desync and not populate even after relogging. Looting corpses with fragmentation grenades may not add the item to the player's inventory. Hooded rags, instead of just going over your clothes armor as a cosmetic, or under your armor, like an under armor, it replaces all equipment like it did in Fallout 4. You cannot wear any armor with it. It is the only apparel in the game I have seen this that seems to have the issue, talking from the Reddit user. X01 optimized bracers has 0 or no noticeable effect at all on the AP cost of power attacks. Antibiotics can't be crafted. Recipe requires Pharmacist 3, however having the perk still does not allow it to be crafted. If you take damage while interacting with an object's inventory, the list of items immediately resorts. This is especially noticeable in scrapping or trying to put items in a hopper like at Mama Dulce's. Fast travel map button is often unclickable. While stealthed with Chameleon or Stealth Boy, the mouse cursor is not properly aligned on the Pipe Boy menu. Raider Power Armor pieces have no weight. If they are stored and pulled out of inventory, the weight will be restored but intermittently reset to 0. Some junk items, hardened mass, bleached dogwood, bloated gland, etc., that are used for recipes are auto-scrapped, unlike other similar junk items such as baseballs or glass bottles. Perks on legendary items sometimes change upon picking it up. It will display one perk on screen when you pick it up, but then when you look at it in your inventory it will be different. And to be honest, this goes on, and on, and on. I'm scrolling while I'm saying this. And on, and on, and on. So, it's like, almost everybody knows the Reddit, but I will include the link. In case you don't know what I'm talking about and don't know all the bugs. But it is a mess of a game. In Ark Survival Evolved, it was filled with glitches. It was filled with bugs. Like, the most annoying and possibly game-breaking bug was the corpses flying away when you kill a dinosaur. However, they fixed that almost right away. And they fixed it in alpha. This is a fully released AAA game. And it has more bugs than Sims. And this is why it is so far up on my list, further than where I had it before. Number 4. Okay. I don't have a problem with indie games. I love indie games. I don't have problems with indie games that has lower graphics than like AA or AAA games. But Baldi's basics. It... Oh... I have no problem with the character model for Baldy. It's stylized, he tried his hardest, and it's actually properly animated. And there's no, like, weird things going on, like random T-posing or anything. That model is actually pretty well made. That's not my problem with this game. My problem with this game is that it sucks! Alright, so I also cannot condemn games because Markiplier played them, and everybody's all like, "Oh, Markiplier played a game. It's the best game in the world." No, that's on the people, not the game. But I don't see why people love this game. The other character models, after seeing Baldy, I expected them to be similar. But no, they're drawings.
Let's play. No! You messed up!
There's like one or two that's a 3D model, but it's inconsistent. Even the drawings are inconsistent. They got this girl floating in the air. They got like a sock puppet. I get that it's supposed to be comical, but I don't get it. It's like, oh, that's a random character. Haha, it's funny. And this is the only game that I have played in my entire life that has actually caused me physical harm. What the hell was that? Oh, shit!
No! You messed up! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sweep. Oh, no. Will you marry me?
Wait, no!
Now, I know it's coincidence that every single thing was talking at me in the same time. If I didn't have headphones on, it wouldn't have been big of a deal. But the audio is bad. It's scratchy. It's really off quality. And all of that, and all the characters repeating their stuff. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Hey, let's play a game. I want someone to play with. It is irritating, annoying to play. I mean, I would have loved to try to complete it, because the actual gameplay of trying to find all the notebooks and like answer the questions without Baldy getting you and smacking your ass constantly with a ruler until you die, at least I assume, it was really good, and they didn't resort into a jump scare when you lose. The scare is that you're just hearing, well, not the rattling, but it's just the constant, and then it gets faster when he's getting faster. That's good. That's a really smooth mechanic in the game. But everything else, all the other things about the game, made it unplayable for me. And that is why it's on number 4. It's a crappy game. I hate that people love it because Markiplier played it. Nothing bad on Markiplier. It's just, I wish. I just wish that this was not a thing that happens on the internet. And leads into number 3. Constant fan rehashes of indie games. Just like, oh, Baldi's Basics, Baldi's Camp Trip, Baldy's college, Baldy's bathroom rules. It's stupid Five Nights at Baldy's. It's just, why can we not do this? Can we please just stop with the rehashes, the remaking of these games? It's done. Five Nights at Freddy's needs to be done. Needs to stop. The story is out there. They pretty much explained everything. They're leaving some things up to speculations. It needs to be done. It needs to stop. Fan rehashes, Slenders, Finding 8 Pages, Surviving 5 Nights, something that has Baldi's in the name. It needs to end. I love indie games. I love indie games that have unique gameplay, like Undertale. Undertale was awesome. Inside was awesome. Freaking Limbo was awesome. Knock Knock. It's just, those were good games because they brought something new. But fan rehashes are just for people that want to just continuously do the same thing over and over and over again. I was hoping that Five Nights at Freddy's would go to the level that Outlast was. Like, you're going through the level, like the pizzeria, and you're finding stuff. Kind of like Bendy. But we had Sister Location, which was awesome. And then next year we got the Pizzeria Simulator when it was announced that there was no Freddy game coming out. And that wound up, it was, half of the game was awesome, but then the other half was the same old, same old. Trying to, like, sit in one place, trying to prevent yourself from being killed. And then Custom Night, where you could throw in a bunch of these characters to try to come at you while you're sitting there trying not to be killed. If he makes another Five Nights at Freddy's, I hope it's something completely different, because I've grown tired of the same old thing. It's time to move on. It's time to do something else. Number 2. Okay. So far on this list, I have condemned games for being boring, for being the same thing over and over and over again, for copying other popular games, and for releasing a full game with a bunch of bugs and glitches knowingly in the game. But this one is dead serious, because I'm condemning these 2 games because of their content. There was this game that Jim Sterling had covered, and yes, I mentioned Jim Sterling a lot. If you guys did not know, I'm pretty poor. I really love games, and I'm working on my own video game, which is why I'm watching and studying other games that are in existence. And I am trying to prevent myself from committing all these video game sins. But there was this game that was going to be released. It was a school shooting simulator. Let me repeat that. A school shooting simulator. Why would this be a thing? I mean, granted, what he was going to do 2 sides. He could either be the kid shooting the school or the SWAT team trying to take him out. But my problem is that you still have a kid in this game shooting other kids in a time where kids are actually going into schools and shooting other kids. When I was a teenager and Columbine happened, I was afraid that that might happen at my school. Now, as an adult, I'm afraid that's going to happen at my kids' schools. And there was not a break, mind you. There was not a time where school shootings didn't happen between Columbine and now. And this guy thinks it was a good idea to release a game about shooting kids in schools. And you gotta think. I'm glad Steam was just like, wait, this is a thing? We're allowing this? We can't have this. Shut it down! So, but Reluge, you have a game that didn't exist on number 2. But my issue with that is that it was fully made and that it was about to be sold. But there's another game. Oh yes. Oh yeah. There's another game. I would like to bring your attention to this lovely icon. Yeah. High School Simulator 2018. That's taking the place of the school shooting simulator. Why? Because it's a school shooting simulator. And what's worse is that it's a high school simulator, not a high school shooting simulator. So what they're implying is that this is a normal thing that happens in school. And to further condemn the game, it's ripping off of Yandere Simulator. That's right. This game took high school Yandere Simulator. It was like, oh hey, this is a popular game. It's not fully out yet, and it's a free game, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to imitate it. I'm going to do all the same models, the same school, put it all in, throw in the same kind of content, but not even that. It's just like, it's not even like the tip of the iceberg. It's a little piece of ice sticking out. Ooh, I'm a little tiny piece of ice. And now I'm being imitated. Whee. And it doesn't even say that it's like an alpha or it's being worked on or anything. It's just, oh, here I am. But we're lose, you might be saying. The game is totally free, and it has no microtransactions. You just watch ads to unlock stuff. What's so wrong with it? The fact that it's free, it has no monetizations, and you have to watch ads to unlock stuff. And it's ripping off of Yandere Simulator. Now, I don't like microtransactions in games, but I hate it when it's in a full-priced game. However, I just wonder why is this game a thing? There's no monetization, you don't pay money, you don't give them money, it's there ripping off of Yandere Simulator, which is a free game. No monetizations. And Yandere Simulator has a lot more in the game than High School Simulator 2018. Why does this game exist? It shouldn't. Now, with me condemning these because of the content, brings up the question about Yandere Simulator. And yeah, the fact that you can go around and kill your fellow classmates in the game, and in fact that's what a lot of people do with the open bug sandbox, but it's one of those games that probably shouldn't be. I mean, it is a good game as it stands at this point, but you're going around killing students, high school students, to prevent them from going out with your crush without actually being able to talk to your crush. So it's a bad message. It's a very hot topic issue. The thing is, it is supposed to be aimed towards adults that know better. It's supposed to be a game where it's like you choose what you can do. You don't have to kill your opponent. You could try convincing her not to fall in love with the guy, to fall in love with some other guy, to expel them, but it's I'm getting off topic. I'm going to have that be a completely different video with a little bit more research and more games as a yeah. I'm just gonna move on. The words are broken, and I really want to move on to number one. Number one. Oh, number one. Oh, number one. More like number two, am I right? Huh? Yeah, in the bathroom, number two? Yeah, it's shit. Oh, number one. You've gone and done it. So, what do you have to say for yourself, Super Seducer? What do you have to say for yourself? Now, people might be wondering why I hate this game with every single fiber in my being, but I enjoyed the crap out of Hunipop. Several huge differences. Now, Hunipop was it was drawn. There was no actual animations to it. It didn't need it. It was a match 3 dating simulator. Dating simulator. And yeah, you were kind of a jerk, like trying to bang every single chick in the area. But your character had charm. He wooed the girls with being nice to them, with taking them out on dates, showing them a good time, talking with them, you know, being a decent human being. And to be honest, I kind of want to marry the alien chick, you know? It's like one of those cases where it's like, I like you a lot. I want to stick with you. I'm going to just tell all these other girls, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's not working out. I like this other chick. But with Super Seducer, a seducing, not simulation, but it's teaching you how to seduce girls. And did someone really want this game to be made? Well, I mean, besides the developer. But also, the developer went and gave this game to people who weren't exactly seducers? Like, Pro Jared, he's married. We all know that he's an actual gentleman. Gave it to Minx. Lesbian. That is for, like, women's rights. And a channel called Your Game Sucks. And expect good reviews from all of them? Are you mad? Well, apparently, because you released the tie for number one, Super Seducer 2! That's right, folks. I went and checked. This is the only game that actually really tried to make a game that's released a sequel in the same year. Now, there's problems with releasing games every year, and Call of Duty and Skylanders can pretty much tell you the problems of those. but to release it months after your first game. And I was thinking, it's like, oh, well, maybe he had a lot of footage that he took. Like, he only could put half of it in one game, and had to release the second game once he got more money, once he knew, like, got some feedback so he can, like, edit things, alter things a bit. But no, it was fully newly filmed. You can tell because in the first game, he has 3 sets of beard. It's like full beard, partial beard, almost no beard. And in the new one, he's just almost no beard. Throughout the whole thing. And he's even listened to some criticisms.
Hello and welcome to Super Seduction 2.
We'll let him go
We're
first.
back, bigger and better. I listened to your feedback and we've made a number of improvements. The first thing is ethnic diversity. We've got Asian characters, black characters, Arab characters, and even a Scottish guy. I also listened to female players.
And put in his words, a chick's perspective. A chick. Do you know when I say chick, referring to referring to a human being? When I am joking around. It was also a thing in the 90s, chicks and dudes, you know? It's a laid back slang. And you go and call girls chicks. Seriously. In a finely polished video game. I mean, it's not taken into like a character's perspective. It's your perspective. But it's just I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What's really bad with this game is the advice that he's given. Granted, I have not played this game, so why is it number 1? Because I've seen enough to know that this is a douchebag simulator. Also, it's just watching other YouTubers playing this. There is a lot of issues. Acting is subpar. The writing is subpar. The only people that are actually making me be like, hey, this is a real person, is only a couple of the girls. And they didn't seem like they wanted to be there, so kind of tells you how the mindset that the girls are in while reading off these lines. The editing is poor. I mean, my editing is poor. And I'm just a low-end YouTuber. I don't have any fancy cameras. I mean, God, look at this lighting. This lighting is horrible. And it's because I can't afford better. And this game is coming from a guy that has the production value to make better stuff than I can. And when I can spot an issue and I know how to fix it, you have an issue. And then when you come forward in your sequel and say that you fix these issues and you have a better budget, and then the audio still unfocuses and refocuses, skips a little, and it seems like the only production was put towards the tank that you had. It makes me question, it's like, well, what do you know? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And just a tiny bit of a critique on your revenge on Pro Jared. I think, now, before I go into what I feel, apparently Pro Jared's cool with it. And he even said that he wouldn't mind if he called him up and been like, hey, you wanna come and act a little scene where I take my revenge on you? he would have been like, well, I would have done it. So, with that knowledge, what you could have done instead of having that god awful YouTube capture of an explosion on the beach.
Please shoot me with missiles.
Die, you fuckers!
Which, by the way, is from a foreign film. Like, during the credits, he's just walking on the beach after he, like, killed the enemy, and he just randomly explodes. So, yeah, what you could have done. Did all your stuff, like, the phone call, been like, oh, Pro Jared's there. Alright, let's do this. And then pull out, like, all those missiles, shoot them off, and have, like, kind of like a cinematic of showing the missiles flying off into the sky. And then showing Pro Jared sitting at a table, playing Magic the Gathering with other Magic the Gathering YouTubers. He, like, puts down a card and he goes, you guys hear that? And then it shows, like, the missile coming down and causing a huge explosion. That's comedy. That would have been great. But no, you went the simple route. With huge budget. Simple route. And I hope you don't continue trying to do suing, takedowns, copyright strikes, because you know what? I mean, you're in your right. You can do that. I don't suggest it. Wanna know why? Because earlier, a little company called Digital Homicide that made Slaughtering Grounds tried to sue everybody on Steam that left a bad review. Demanded from Steam that they provide him with all the personal information from everybody that's given a bad review, myself included. And they were like, you know what? No. In fact, we're tired of this shit. We're tired of your bullshit. We're tired of you acting like you know what you're doing. We're pulling all your games off of Steam. So Digital Homicide committed digital suicide. So, I hope you don't do this because you actually do have a thing here. This is what I'm forever going to be referring to as the cool cat situation. The core, what you got, has promise. What you delivered was lovely. It can be better. You can produce a game that's really tight, really polished, and people would actually want to play. What you can do instead, just abandon the whole Super Seducer, don't do Super Seducer 3, come up with a different game, same concept. Because I was excited when it was full motion video. I love the crap out of that. I love what you can do with that in video games. It's great. But this is really bugging me. But instead, don't be a seducing simulator. Don't do that. Be a dating simulator. There's a difference, and I'll explain. So, what you can do instead. Have like the same concept where it's like you find a girl, you want to date her. I mean, it happens. Run into a girl in like the mall, you're shopping, and you see a girl where you're about to go and look at stuff or even like purchase stuff. And you guys strike up a conversation. And you feel like select what you want to say. You can be, in fact, do keep the perverse stuff up there. That was actually funny when it was well done. Checking out her shoes just to look up her skirt. That was awesome. That was funny. and it actually had the proper response from a girl, except I would have had her kick you. I would have been kicked in the face for comedy. But do have like an actual conversation, like talking about the thing, talking about like what you guys like, trying to find a common ground. Huge suggestion though. You had a couple things reversed when you're trying to give suggestions. You don't want to talk about yourself too much. Because you come off as kind of a dick when you do that. You want to exchange. Like, have her talk about herself, talk about yourself. Just have the conversation keep going. If you're like hounding her with questions like, hey, what do you do for a job? What do you like doing for fun? Where do you live? Do you have any pets? What's your phone number? What's your breast size? I mean, I know you didn't actually ask that, but when you're just like pounding her with questions, makes her actually think like, hey, does this guy want to seduce me? Is this a thing that's trying to happen, that's trying to be? And she gets uncomfortable. But also you don't want to talk about yourself too much, because you will come out as being like egotistical. You know? Gotta exchange. Have human connections. And rarely do you want to try to get the girl's number the first time you meet them. So in like situations like going to the same store, chances are she'll be back there. So I have scenes like, don't even ask, like, do you come here often? Well, maybe at the beginning. But you come back, and if she's there, strike with their conversation like, hey, I remember you. And actually have a thing where you have to try to remember her name. Because that happens in dating simulations, and it will actually have impact on the person you're talking to. It's like, hey, you remembered. That's awesome. It's like remembering some other things, like other things that they like. Like you could bring up, like, hey, there's this other store over here that has this. And it's like, oh, you remembered that I like that, and I did not know about this other store. So, yeah, let's go there real quick. Let's see what they got. And, you know, it would just be legitimate human conversation instead of, yeah, I like to work at a coffee thing. It's not I know it's not a career, but I like coffee. Okay, nice. So, do you like dogs? And it would just be so much better if the game was angled at a dating simulator. I mean, the difference is slight, but at least it will be a better game, and I might actually want to play that one. But as Super Seducer and Super Seducer 2 stands, I don't want to spend my money on something that I don't want to play. Now, if you're sitting there like, oh, you're just damning this game without playing it, give me a review code. If I get a code to play this game, I will play it in its entirety seriously. This isn't like, oh, give me free stuff, or like, oh, I'm refusing to pay money, so give it to me for free. I'll be happy throughout my whole life if I don't play this game. But if I'm given a copy, I'm obligated. Not really as a job, I'm more of an intern still, but I would be obligated to play this game. Give it a real review, like a legitimate, like, oh, now that I'm actually in the game and I'm immersed in it, this is how I feel, like in the moment, type of thing. And if my viewpoint changes drastically in the game, I might come back and do a revisit on this list. So, before I head off, there's a couple games that I was thinking of putting on this list, but after playing them, I decided not to. There's this Harry Potter for the phone. That was actually not bad. I haven't fully played in it, and it does have an energy system. Well, the energy system wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, I decided it's not worth putting on the list. And, Prodigy. You know what? I have a video talking about why I had a problem with that. But, after finally getting the code that I was promised, and downloading the game and playing it, it's well done. My biggest concern, though, it's supposed to be a figure scanning, and the layout and the gameplay on the screen looks like it's going to be fun with the figures included, but they were supposed to be done for 3 years now. And there's a lot of problems, a lot of delays. And so I'm just patiently waiting, and I'm hoping that that's going to be a thing, because I still like the idea of the figure scans, especially if you level up your characters and you make choices on improving certain attacks or something. It's like your own little personal profile. So this is my list of the worst for 2018. Of course, if you have a different opinion, then let me know in the comment section down below. Let's have a nice conversation about it. I do urge you to make your own videos of your what you feel is the top 10 worst. And if you do that, put a link in my comment section down below. I'll watch it. I'll watch it and I'll promote it. So, click on whichever thumb you think is appropriate for this video. Please be mindful and considerate of other people's opinions, because it is their opinions. I know there's people that like Fallout 76, but as it stands, it's not a game I want to buy. I'll stick with Fallout 4. And until next time, stay white and nerdy.